What's going on, everyone? This is Sheets. Happy New Year to everybody. And today we're going to be going over the NBA slate for this evening. Um, Again, we're just going to do kind of an early look at the projections and see what it looks like. And then, as usual, we're going to try to to do a build now. Again, we don't expect it to be the build that we play, but again, the more reps you get messing around with these tools, the better off you're going to be long term. One sort of announcement I want to make. I might do a separate video on this. For those of you that have been kind of participating in the State Kings piece of this, for a lot of reasons, I've decided to stop doing that for a while, at least. And I have a lot of reasons for that. But my goal to doing the State Kings has nothing against State Kings particularly, just the whole concept was the idea was not to have the stake part be just like an investment. You know what I mean? Like I always back in the poker days thought that so much of the staking part from my perspective was just kind of the fun of sweating and rooting and all that stuff. And when I had this idea when I decided to put my own stuff up on State Kings, again, I don't want to say I didn't need the money. That's going to come off the wrong way, but the markup or whatever it was. I mean, I knew I was, long term, I was going to make money. So I'm probably better off just keeping it all for myself. But that's not why I was doing this. Okay. The reason my goal for doing the State Kings thing was to turn it into more of a kind of an entertainment experience for the person staking, and not only that, but turning it to something where they can learn along the way. That was kind of the concept is okay, you'll sell action and hopefully you make money, but also to be able to sweat along the way and to root and all that stuff that people like to do. And I figured I'd throw in also some live streams for the people that would buy stuff where I would show people how I'm building and maybe they learn something as well. But for a lot of reasons, I think I failed in that aspect of it. I haven't really been able to capture the idea of the live sweat in the way that I really want. I mean, I do them every once in a while, whatever. And I do, build my lineups most of the time, at least, live, but not all the time. And if it's just going to be like an investment thing, it's just, I just don't support that from my perspective and from an investor's perspective too. I mean, it's kind of tough to just, make money staking DFS at the markup that I'm charging, I'm charging like 1.2 or whatever. And I don't find it, to be 20% ROI is very, very difficult. So if it's just going to be an investment, I don't really think it's a good idea for an investor, really. That's a separate opinion. And if I'm going to put stuff out and it is going to be viewed as just an investment, I really can't in good conscience put it up there. Again, my idea was a little bit different, to give a lot more. And I feel like I have given a lot more than just, just the access to the action for the people that have bought stuff. But I just think I failed at that, at least for now. I'm going to still think about that, and I'm going to seek a lot of different advice on how I could change it. And I was kind of hoping that other people would do the same thing that I was doing, and that hasn't happened at all. So, I don't know. So in any case, I got into it with something. I didn't get into it. There was a guy I respected quite a bit who just really got all kinds of negativity about the fact that I was doing this, and I never really. I don't know. Maybe I should have seen that coming. I don't know. But the last thing I need in this industry is negative vibes, and I'm just not interested. And if it was just some random guy who was pissed about something, I would just ignore it. But this guy I really respect in the industry was telling me that I'm just kind of viewed as some guy who's just trying to I don't know, just kind of negative stuff that I really want no part of. And since I have been unable to really figure out what I want to do with this live sweat thing anyway, I'm just better off just to not do it anymore. That's my decision. And I was thinking about doing this anyway. And since it was the end of the year, I figured I would just kind of do it. So that's the end of that, at least for now. So let's go do the NBA slate, and we're looking at the SaberSim display right now, and I already see a lightning bolt that says I have players that are out, even from my dummy lineups. Okay, so John Collins is out. That's something to look at. Let's take a look and see how the slate breaks down. We got 2 7 o'clocks, it's 2 7:30s, actually 3 7:30s and an 8. So nice, easy evening. You guys, if you guys are really into the college football, you could just, focus in on that stuff. But I am going to go live at 6 o'clock to go through, all the late changes and things like that. So let's go through game by game, and I'm going to at least identify now who the top projected guys are, and then we'll try to build. So Chicago, Washington, right off the bat, it's 137 point total. It's kind of nuts, right? You do see a questionable tag on Zach LaVine, and I'm getting this is so funny. Oh man! So part of this I was an argument I got into. I won the 555 the other day, and one of the guys who was in my lineup was Lonzo Ball. And I went on to SaberSim, and I was trying to be nice and just as usual and try to share my process with people. And so I told people that I didn't have a lot of time, and I used the SaberSim projections and whatever, and I used the SaberSim ownership fields to my contest sims, and I ended up doing one late swap, and this is what I got. And people were challenging me, how could you have played Lonzo Ball in the 555? And not played Misic or something. And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't really even look. I ran the stuff. I didn't even see who I had. And what's kind of interesting is that I just did my custom projections for today, and check out who was right at the top of the list is the aforementioned Lonzo Ball. So Lonzo Ball is coming back to get me. And I know a lot of you were thinking, boy, Eric, you're being so freaking emo about this. You're getting so sensitive. I guess. I don't know. It just yesterday it was the end of the year, and I don't know what it was. It's really got the best of me. I usually have a pretty thick skin with this, but they really got to me. They really did. Anyway, whatever. So Lonzo Ball actually looks like a good point per dollar play here, 5.6x, 3,800. I hope if I play and people don't yell at me, especially if I win. And then the Patrick Williams, 4,600, looks pretty good at 5.3x. Josh Giddey looks pretty good. I heard it's a pretty good story about Josh Giddey from another site. Now, what was the site? I can't remember. I want to say not Fantasy Drive, Fantasy Alarm. I don't even know what it was. It was some YouTube channel that I watch sometimes. And they were commenting that Josh Giddey, after a game a few games ago, was kind of upset that he wasn't going to be able to close games. So he went to the coach, and he said, what do I have to do? And to close games. And he said, no problem, just play defense. And apparently in the very next game, he played incredible defense, and he ended up closing. And since then, he's been getting a lot of minutes. So what that could mean is I don't know if this is true. This is a story I got, but I'm just relaying it. But if you're going to get a full 32x minutes from Josh Giddey at 7,700, you're probably going to want to play it. So that's kind of I don't know. This could have been something that was talked about throughout this could have been something that was talked about already on other shows, and people already know this, but if that's the case, then it's already filtered down to the projections. But if not, if they're still using kind of season-wide projections for minutes, I think that maybe you get a little bit of an edge, giving them a couple more minutes in projections. Right now, even I'm using a 29.87 minute projection, a 29-minute projection. So if that's the case, maybe I'm under projecting. Maybe it should be closer to 32, which is feel a pretty big deal. So all three of these guys, all four of those guys in Chicago, and then you get to Kobe White also. So right off the bat, you have, all kinds of Chicago stuff right out of the gate. And it's no surprise. It's 237 points total, and as a result, you're going to get guys with good projections. On the other side of this, if you wanted to be the game stacker, Valanciunas at 5K is the top projected Washington guy as far as points per dollar. But what's really interesting is that there's nobody else. Like even if I do it by points per dollar, like Jordan Poole is the top guy, and you can look at that one of two ways. Like number one, they're bad projection. It's a bad. They don't project well, so don't play them. Or you could say F the projections. If the Chicago guys are going to smash, you should probably get a run back on Washington, and you should play somebody like Jordan Poole. Now, again, this is unsettled theory still about run backs and stacking and stuff like that in the NBA. But if you're a believer, you could use Jordan Poole and Valanciunas, and you could just do what I used to call lovingly the Big T stack, and just take the first game, put like 3 guys from one side, 3 guys from the other, put up a number, be cashing for first, and say, "Come and get me." Now again, this is not being meant as an insult. Obviously, Big T is like one of the best, but one of the best like for a long time. But I used to call it a Big T stack whenever he would just do the 3x3 or however many it be, and just put cashing for first, and you'd see him all down the lot. And he would basically say, "Come and get me, guys." And there's a certain psychological wisdom to that. I don't know. Anyway, that first game right off the bat looks pretty good. All right, so Orlando, Detroit. We're going to have the same discussion, I think, that we did about these Orlando guys. Now, what's interesting is that from a projection perspective, I don't have any of them. Do I even have them in my pool? Oh my God, I don't even have them projected yet. This is how prepared I am. So I don't even have your Orlando guys projected yet. Why do I not have Orlando guys projected? All right, so I'm going to have to look at this again. Why? This is a very good question. Why do I not have the Orlando guys projected? I mean, I should. Oh, you know what? It's Saberson's fault. Isn't that good? The way I just completely deflect to everybody else. It is 100%. No, it's not. It's my fault. It's definitely my fault. But hang on. So I want to do this while I'm. Because I actually use SaberSim's projections as part of the baseline for when I put my own together, to some degree at least. So if I start with no projections from SaberSim, I'm not going to get anything. So it's possible that that I had an old file. So I'm going to rerun this as I'm speaking, but I want to talk about but I do want to talk about the Orlando guys, because we talked about this guy. Well, the 2 guys were Trent De Silva and Traveling Queen, I guess. And they were getting a serious amount of new rotation. And we played like a whole bunch of Queen, and we played a whole bunch of De Silva. And I was wondering what was going to end up happening with that. Let's take a look at these projections right now for the Orlando guys, just from SaberSim, and then we'll look at ours in a minute. So Jalen Suggs is back, so he's probable, I guess. So that's fine, but you still see Silva at 4,800, and if he's going to start getting these 32 minutes, 34 minutes even, I mean, that's going to be a really good play for a rookie with upside. And then you have Trevelin Queen. Again, he's going to need to start for me to use him. But if, in fact, he does start again, when he started, they really gave him the full Monty, so to speak. Okay? So, again, I don't know why I'm putting like so much effort into this Orlando situation. But but I am. So let me just see something. All right, so I'm going to redo this. I'm going to have a good set of. I'm going to now have a good set of not Sabres projections, but of my own projections in a second. See what's going on here. I'm already starting to get technologically destroyed here. But aside from that, we'll take a look and see if anybody looks good from a value perspective from Orlando. So now, we're back to the Jonathan Isaac experience. So for like a long time, we were in this world where Jonathan Isaac would project like an amazing play all day long, and then when it came time to actually put your lineups in, he didn't look like a play at all. So I don't know if we're back, so to speak, as the kids are saying. But in addition to, say, Tristan Da Silva with a 5.3x projection, at least by Sabres, I'm going to do mine in a second, and a Jonathan Isaac, a 5.32, maybe again you're going to get a Jonathan Isaac, whatchamacallit, a Jonathan Isaac day, or at least for part of the day. All right, so hold on. I just redid the projection. Let me just make sure I have these Orlando guys now on the list. Hang on. I'm such an idiot. All right, so let's re-upload these. This is serious, like an inside look at the trials and tribulations of someone trying to do content along with 70 other businesses. Goodness. All right. So these projections are now up. And now we will then go and just look at them again. Hang on. It's New Year's Day. You guys have nothing to do except watch football. All right. So that's FanDuel. Let's take a look. And let me just, because I did this to you guys. All right. So here we are. So we do have like the Orlando guys now in. The Chicago guys still look good. Okay, so now the Brooklyn guys are showing up. So I was missing, I think, a couple of games here. So I am getting the projection on Goga and KCP, but I don't want to do that. I really am considering playing this Da Silva character, even if Suggs plays. I mean, this projection is pretty weak, but I might override this. And certainly, if somehow we get a Trevelyan Queen starting, I mean, this projection will go up, obviously. So we'll just keep an eye on that. All right, fair enough. All right, let me see if I have any questions in here. One guy I'm locking in Sengun. All right. Well, we'll see. I'm going to get there. All right, so Utah against the Knicks. Now, as I just mentioned, John Collins is not. I don't think he's going to play. Let's take a look and see what looks good, at least projection-wise, from Utah and Knicks. Now, it is a 13-point spread, so that's a little annoying, right? You have blowout risk and things like that. Josh Hart is really the only guy I have at over 5x from the Knicks side. So that would be it. I have a 20% ownership. It's not even that great. I mean, not even that great for 20% ownership to be 5x. And then on the Utah side, I'm getting just a whole lot of nothing, actually. Which is a little it's interesting. I mean, you would think you get something from this game, but it looks like not. But I think with Collins out, I have a feeling that something's going to emerge. You know, I don't think my projections really have counted for this. I think Kessler might show up as a better play, 6,600, maybe Sensabaugh or something like that. So I'm going to reserve the right to revisit this. We're going to revisit it anyway. But right now, I don't really see too much from there. All right, so Brooklyn, Toronto, I don't know if you noticed this, but when I redid the projections, one of the things that changed was all this Brooklyn value kind of just emerged. So let's just take a look at what that is. I don't even know who's out to cause this, but so D'Angelo Russell, we're saying, is now on Brooklyn, and he's 6,200. Excuse me, 5,100. So should we look into this to see if this guy's actually playing? Let's take a look at some notes here. I mean, you'd like to think that if he weren't going to play, that he wouldn't be projected. Let's just take a look and see what we have here. Nets, sorry. So let's see. D'Angelo Russell, he's not on the injury report, and he's cleared. Okay. Well, it is what it is in Toronto. So D'Angelo Russell and Nicholas Claxton are the top plays from Brooklyn here. Okay, so it doesn't look like the greatest value in the world. I thought it was, but it's not so much. But D'Angelo Russell, 5,100 is kind of tough. That's a tough fade, really. I mean, we were playing him at high ownership on the freaking Lakers at this price. I mean, on Brooklyn with much, without no LeBron, no AD to sap all so much usage. I think this could be an extremely difficult fade. I mean, especially if he's starting. I mean, how is he not going to? And Cam Thomas is out. Like, for example, who's shooting? Simmons isn't shooting. Maybe Keon Johnson. Maybe he'll be the dude. But this isn't he's only projecting it. Well, he's projecting 5.5x. He's only projecting 11% ownership. That can't be. So I'm gonna pronounce, at least conceptually, that D'Angelo Russell. I know that what's his name isn't gonna like this. He kind of looks like a lock. But let's see if he's starting. Let's see what's up. All right. On Toronto, I'm getting nothing. Really a whole lot of nothing here. Let's take a look. Nope. I mean, just Scotty Barnes, I guess. He's 10-1, though. I mean, it's not going to happen, I don't think, for me. So I think D'Angelo Russell's extremely strong. Let's keep track of what we liked here. So I think Giddey, again, I think Giddey's going to be sneaky because, well, if Levine is out, then he's not going to be sneaky, like, at all. But I like, who'd we say? Lonzo Ball and Giddey from that game. And who are other guys in there? Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. Let's take a look at it again. Let's fill us in. Lonzo, okay, Patrick Williams, Kobe White, just so I remember them. Put all this in. Yeah, we're not playing Taylor Horton Tucker ever again. Sorry. Patrick Williams, Kobe White. Just remember who we like here. And then Giddey. And then Orlando, just so we remember, let's put this the Silva guy, and I'll remember to play Queen also. And the other Washington guy, if it works down to, is Valanciunas. All right. All right, New Orleans against Miami. I recall there being a little bit of value here. Okay, so Alec Burks at 3,400 looks too cheap. Tyler Hero looks like a decent play, and Bam looks like a decent play. So let's see. Burks is point guard, shooting guard. So, certainly save some money. We haven't seemed to need the money yet, but like, what did he do? I guess he must have had a good game recently, right? So Burks, not really. I mean, 18 minutes, 19 minutes. But he, if he puts up 24, 32, then we're in business. But I don't know. Maybe. He is showing up as a decent value play, though. I'm just saying. 5x. Maybe not that great. But Hero looks good. Bam looks good. Presuming these guys play. So these guys weren't suspended. Rozier was suspended. Okay. That's why probably Burks is showing up. Why wouldn't he? Butler is going to be back. Okay. So Butler's going to be back. Although, again, like, there's still these trade rumors. I don't know about any of this. But so Burks, Tyler Hero, they all look good. New Orleans, nothing really. I mean, I'm getting Messi as the top play, but he's really doesn't look that great. So I'm probably going to be off of the New Orleans side. And what do we have left? A couple more games? Okay, so we have But Utah Knicks we already looked at because we were looking at it from the Saberson perspective. All right, so good. We're almost done here. And the last one is Dallas Houston. So now we're finally at the idea of locking in, as he was saying in the chat, locking in Sengun. Okay. Well, let's take a look at it. First, we'll just take a look at the regular projections and on a points per dollar basis. The top. There are a couple of decent point per dollar plays, but it's Dylan Brooks who's just okay, and Fred VanVleet is just okay. Really not getting a really good projection. Well, I shouldn't say not really getting a good one. Sengun I have is kind of, I'm going to show you. I'll show you what this looks like on my sheet here. So I'm not looking at my point per dollar. I'm looking at this sheet's value score thing, which kind of combines both fantasy points and points per dollar. And he's certainly in the mix here with these kind of spend ups. So yeah, I mean, he's fine. And he is 6% owned. So I don't know about when you say lock him in. I mean, I don't know how many lineups you're going to play, but I don't think you need to play 150 with all Sengun. But if you're playing one lineup, I certainly am not going to dispute this because, one thing we haven't seen is there are spend ups that we really, really love and need. So I can't argue with any of this. Listen, we talked about Hero, talked about Bam, didn't even get to Cat really, didn't even talk about Cade Cunningham really. So none of these spend ups were that great. So BMAC, I have no problem with that. I mean, I really don't. Let me say lock him in. I definitely don't mind him as a play, especially at this low ownership. So yeah, I got no issues with that. On the other side with Dallas, with Luka remaining out, let me see how Kyrie is projecting nowadays. At 9,400, he certainly doesn't project all that great at 4.4x. But again, one thing that we have noticed, he doesn't even look that great here. So I can, from a projection perspective, support the Kyrie play or pretty much anybody from Dallas. However, I will say this, that if you are going to play Sengun anyway, then playing Kyrie is definitely good theory, because if the whole game explodes, or God forbid there's overtime, you're going to want to do that. Now, as long as we're here, listen, it's a pretty light day here. You mentioned Trey Murphy. Yeah, again, I'm not telling you not what not to do. He doesn't certainly look good as far as projections go. So I am going to run something here, and let's just see what we get when we run this stuff. Okay, we will. Where's my? Okay, here projections. I'm curious to see actually what we get when we build 5,000 lineups with our projections. Now, I think my ownerships at this point are extremely poor. At least that they did upgrade. What's his name's price, Dinwiddie. So you really can't play him at that price. But that's good that they did that. And let's just see what we get. We build 5,000. I guess, but I can't even guess. You know what? Let's have some fun. Let's guess and see what we let's guess and see what we have. Oh yeah, points per dollar. I imagine that all this stuff is going to look good. All these Chicago guys are just going to look good, and then you could probably play any of these studs you want. So maybe we'll get Cat after all. But let's just take a look and see. So when we just rate these before we do the Sims here, just on ownership, on what we would be getting, you see me at 87% Goga actually. And then the aforementioned Josh Giddey, we talked about that, D'Angelo Russell, Patrick Williams, Josh. So these are all guys we did talk about, which is good news. I don't know if I'd want 30% of the Kentavious Caldwell Pope. I would say that. And let's let's run this. Oops, I don't want to save the contest. What I want to do is want to run the sims and simulate these 5,000 lineups versus the contest that we're playing. And we're playing 60 lineups in the fadeaway, one in the 888, and a couple of other random ones. And it's going to put them in the right contests, allegedly. So we're getting even more Josh Giddey. So this is kind of nuts, right? And I'm getting a big projection on Giddey relative to SaberSim. So I'm gonna have to decide whether this is really what I want to do. But that's what I'm seeing right now. And so if I get Giddey if I'm going to project him 5 points higher than SaberSim somehow, I'm just going to get all of it. And I'll have to decide whether I'll have to go into the internals and see if these projections are good. And quite honestly, given the fact that I provided a little bit of upside as far as his minutes go with that narrative I kind of described, I'm kind of down with this. And I will say this, that obviously if Levine is out, then this is going to be, I imagine that this ownership of 11% is going to be kind of obscene, and it'll be more like 30. But if Levine is in, keep this tame. I don't mind this at all. So that's so what we'll do is we will put these. Well, again, let's go through this process again. So we're going to use autofill, and what we're going to do is going to sort these by fees. Put the largest one up at the top. So then when we save them, it's going to go here. BMAC is saying he likes Giddey, but we need the Levine news early. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? But I'm telling you, I think that I would play him with Levine as well. I do. I believe that's the case. And this is always something you think about. Would you rather, it's kind of a stupid question. It doesn't matter what I would rather, right? But would I rather have Levine in and get Giddey at, 7% ownership, 10% ownership, not as good of a play, or get Levine out and have Giddey be almost a smash play, but 30%? It's, the answer to that question is really the DFS puzzle, which has not been solved yet. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys. I might do a golf thing a little later because there is the Century tomorrow, and I'm going to be out for a couple of days for the most part. So I want to give you guys as much as I can. And sorry to have strayed and talked about that other stuff, but I just wanted to at least let you guys know what I was doing. And that's going to be the end.